فقد انعدمت المياه وأصبح المواطن عاجزا على شرائها، خاصة في ظل الظروف الاقتصادية التي يعاني منها. وارتفعت أسعار المياه بما يعادل 500%، بل إلى 700 و1000%.
Philanthropists are planning to build a water pumping station. In a region suffering from a hot climate, this is a matter of life and death.
الآن أصبح المواطنين عاجزين على شراء المياه. المزارعين أيضا أدى إلى نقص المحصول، وأدى إلى شرب الناس من آبار ومياه مكشوفة، مما أدى إلى انتشار أمراض كالكوليرا وأمراض أخرى في محافظة تعز.
The governorate capital, the city of Taiz, with a population of more than 600,000 people, is one of the largest Yemeni cities. That's where Ali Mahjoub Hassan has moved to. It's only 2 hours by car from his village. But Ali has no car. He makes a living reselling confectionery at an intersection.
أنا لي رغبة أن أهاجر من هذه البلاد إلى أي دولة أو إلى مناطق حضرموت أو إلى مناطق فيها العمل والدخل المناسب حتى يكفي أهلي.
It's not getting any colder in Yemen. Ali Mahjoub Hassan is not returning to farming. He will work part-time jobs in the city, and his family will eventually join him there. Climate deterioration in Yemen, breaking off from the traditional social structure, global warming and waves of refugees from new deserts to other countries, all this is inevitable.
В принципе, правильно говорить не просто глобальное потепление, а глобальное изменение климата. Ведь люди могут влиять на климат, не обязательно выбрасывая углекислый газ. Например, вырубка лесов. Вы вырубаете леса, и вместо лесов у вас появляется, к вам приходит пустыня. Приходит пустыня, там меняется ситуация. То есть не только сам климат из каких-то внешних факторов меняется. Вы создали условия для изменения климата.
The wide-reaching impact that humans have not just on climate, but on the whole planet, led scientists to the hypotheses of the Anthropocene, the age when humans started influencing the planet directly. Geologist Michael Wagreich is one of the advocates of this theory.
Humans are influencing, of course, greenhouse gases, so carbon dioxide and others. Humans are influencing a lot of processes of cycles, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, the sulfur cycle. So there are a lot of evidences for me that things are changing.
Tromsø, Norway. It's about 6,000 kilometers from here to Yemen. But the climate change Yemen suffers from is somewhat evident in Norway as well. The students from Nature and Youth Organization are getting ready for a Friday environmental strike. All Norwegians know about the need to reduce hazardous substance emissions. But adults' intentions in this regard are seen as too timid by adolescents.
De har lyst til å oppnå at den skal kutte litt mer på utslipp. Foreløpig i den nye foreslåtte nedkuttinga så var det på 11%, og det må opp til 50%. Så de velger da å gå litt drastisk til og prøve å få det til å høyne til 50 da. Det kommer til å bli drastisk.
Anthropocene man demands drastic measures. Friday school strikes started in 2018 in Sweden on the initiative of a schoolgirl from Stockholm, Greta Thunberg. Now the whole world knows about this way to bring attention to this disastrous problem. Except that solving this problem is harder than it seems.
Det som er litt rart, det er at folk tenker ikke på klimaet. For eksempel, det er jo to ting som kjennetegner veldig mye sånn på veldig langt ut på høyresiden. Det er jo liksom, de vil ikke ha så mye innvandrere, de vil ha en veldig streng innvandringspolitikk, men så bryr de seg heller ikke om klimaet, de vil liksom dempe det veldig. Mens det som er litt rart å tenke på, at liksom, det kommer jo etter hvert til å bli et problem med miljøinnvandring, at folk ikke, ikke bare for at det er krig, men at det er rett og slett ubeboelig i Afrika og langt der nede.
Hvis vi hadde ikke sånn alle innvandrere, hvis vi hadde ikke god grunn til å komme hit.
The roadmap global warming activists signed in 2016, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, is comprehensive but not obligatory. The signatories recognize the inevitable increase in average global surface temperatures.
Не имеет смысла ставить даже вопрос, это нереально ограничить рост температуры к 2100 году, там, например, 1 градусом. Это нереально.
The Paris Agreement signatories have only pledged to take all possible measures to limit the rise of average temperature to 2 degrees, or preferably to 1.5 degrees, by the end of the 21st century.
Если человечество продолжает развиваться так, как оно развивается сейчас, не предпринимая никаких мер по сокращению выброса, по сокращению своего воздействия на климат, то к 2100 году рост температуры составит порядка 4-5 градусов.
Commitments to reduce emissions made by some countries require large sums of money. And it still won't be enough to stop warming by 2 degrees or even 1.5 degrees. That's why European school children are on strike, urging their contemporaries to start thinking about what to do.
When I remember being a child, there was nothing about global warming. And we burned our coal and we're happy. Now we know. And I think science and education is a very important point in that. I think we are on the right way in that.
This is the Svalbard archipelago, the northernmost Norwegian territory. Longyearbyen is one of the northernmost settlements in the world. But the places that are supposed to be coldest hold the record for global warming. The Arctic ice caps melt faster than they freeze and become increasingly smaller year by year. That's why these locations are warming more rapidly than others. The average temperature in Svalbard is 4 degrees higher than it was in the early 1970s. By the end of this century, it could become another 10 degrees warmer.
The glaciers diminish, permafrost thaws, so the soil becomes softer, and we see changes, quite dramatic changes here in Longyearbyen, because houses have to be abandoned, both due to avalanche risk and due to soil thawing, soil motions. Some of the houses stand on wood pilings. These are, instead of being dry and frozen, they are now starting to rot. So there are many changes that come very close to us as human beings.
The Doomsday Storage, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, was opened in 2008. Permafrost and low seismic activity seemingly guaranteed that storing millions of seeds from all over the world in this underground refrigerator would be simple. But 9 years later, the vault entrance was inundated. Authorities claim the seeds weren't damaged, but millions were spent on repairs. Such dissimilar problems in Norway and Yemen have been caused by the same climate changes. But the approach to solving the problem hasn't united humanity yet.
In some parts of the world, people are struggling to get food. They, of course, have to probably increase their energy use. But, much of the change we see in the atmosphere today is caused by some of the rich countries' emissions decades ago. So we have different history, we have different future, but the future of the planet is our common future. And we need to contribute as best we can in all our countries.
Vast territories of the far north regions in Russia, the USA and Canada will face the same fate. The infrastructure of the former permafrost areas will have to be changed and adjusted for the new climate. Less snow, more rain. Some African and Middle Eastern countries will resemble today's Yemen.
Also telling us that climate variability is creating a whole lot of internal migration within countries. And the extra piece of knowledge that we get from our paper is that that could also be fueling armed conflicts in some parts of the world.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007 for building a widespread consensus regarding the link between human activities and global warming. Their report, produced in 2018, defined ways to influence the global climate, to reduce harmful emissions, plant forests, promote seaweed cultivation in the ocean. The report contains even the most exotic and unusual method, construction of a global shield.
Возможно применение методов управления солнечной радиацией. Наиболее известный это заброс в стратосферу серосодержащих веществ, которые в стратосфере преобразуются в серные аэрозоли, которые отражают солнечную радиацию. Это аналог природного эффекта, который происходит после мощных извержений вулканов. Последний известный пример – это извержение вулкана Пинатуба.
The Mount Pinatubo eruption of 1991 in the Philippines created a huge cloud of dust and ash that shielded the Earth's surface from sunlight. The atmospheric emission from Pinatubo was the largest in the 20th century. The eruption led to a decrease in average temperatures on the planet of 0.5 degrees. The same kind of shield, only a man-made one, is something scientists are contemplating today. But there's still a long way to go before this idea could be implemented.
Мне кажется, что мы оказались в ситуации, когда сейчас уже нужно не столько думать о том, как бороться с выбросами, а уже наступает время, когда пора думать о том, что делать с последствиями, как спасаться.
Realizing what we've done, reducing our influence on the planet, and adapting to the new climate of the Anthropocene age is the complex, difficult, and inevitable future of mankind on Earth.